Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back, not because of wrinkles or gray hair, but because somewhere along the way you stopped seeing you, your spark, your essence, your style? That was me, standing in my bedroom one quiet afternoon, surrounded by clothes that felt like they belonged to someone else entirely. After my husband passed away, my world shifted overnight. The colors drained, not just from my wardrobe, but from my life. My once beloved dresses sat untouched, and I reached, day after day, for the same safe sweaters in muted tones. It wasn't just grief I was wearing, it was invisibility. But here's the thing no one tells you. Style isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling alive again. And for women over 60, especially after loss, rediscovering our style is about so much more than fashion. It's about reclaiming our confidence, our joy, and the woman we still are inside. I didn't realize how far I'd drifted from myself until one day a friend asked me to join her for lunch. I stood in front of my closet for nearly an hour, unable to find a single thing that made me feel, well, like me. That was the moment I knew. If I wanted my life to feel vibrant again, I had to start by bringing color, shape, and beauty back into it, one outfit at a time. That realization didn't happen overnight, and the journey wasn't always pretty. But as I began to experiment with bolder colors, softer fabrics, and new silhouettes, I felt pieces of myself returning. Every choice I made in front of that mirror became an act of self-care, a quiet rebellion against the dullness that grief had wrapped around me. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. In this video, we're going to talk about how to rebuild your style and your spirit after loss. From refreshing your wardrobe to finding colors that lift your mood, from embracing hairstyles that light up your face to choosing accessories that tell your story, I'll show you how to create a style that feels authentic, elegant, and full of life at any age. Because here's the truth, at 70, you're not past your style years. You're in one of the most powerful chapters of your life. You've earned the right to show up in the world exactly as you want to be seen. So let's begin this journey together, one step, one outfit, and one beautiful moment at a time. There's a certain kind of stillness that follows grief, a silence that seeps into the way you live, the way you speak, and yes, even the way you dress. I remember standing in front of my mirror, not just seeing my reflection, but feeling the absence of the woman I once knew. My eyes searched for her spark, that subtle lift in my shoulders, the playful way I used to tilt my head when a dress made me feel beautiful, but she wasn't there. For many women over 60, especially after loss, the mirror becomes a place we avoid. It's not that we dislike ourselves, it's that we no longer recognize the person staring back. The clothes hanging in our closets may still fit, but they no longer feel like us. Safe colors and shapeless silhouettes start to replace the bold choices we once made. We tell ourselves it's about comfort, but deep down it's about not wanting to be seen. I came to understand that this was more than a fashion rut. It was a reflection of my emotional state. Grief had stripped away not only my partner, but also the energy I once poured into expressing myself. My outfits became a quiet camouflage, a way to move through the world without drawing attention. But here's the turning point, acknowledging that I missed that part of myself. I realized that style wasn't about vanity, it was about identity. The clothes I wore told a story, and if I wanted a different chapter, I had to start dressing for it. The first step wasn't running out to buy something new, it was simply allowing myself to stand in front of that mirror again, without judgment, and ask, who do I want to be now? That single question began to shift everything. Because once you start to envision the woman you still want to become, the rest of the journey, color, texture, fit, starts to take shape. And that's exactly what leads us to the next step. Creating space, both physically and emotionally, to welcome the new. When I finally faced my wardrobe, it wasn't just a collection of clothes hanging on hangers, it was a timeline of my life. There were dresses from anniversaries, sweaters from family holidays, even a silk blouse my husband once surprised me with. Each piece carried a memory, and some of those memories felt too heavy to wear again. Decluttering after grief isn't about ruthlessly tossing things into donation bags. It's about deciding which parts of your past you want to carry forward and which ones you can gently let go. I started by touching each item, letting myself feel whatever came up. Sometimes it was a smile, other times a lump in my throat. Both were valid, and both told me something important about what that garment meant to me now. I created three sections: keep, release, and transform. The keep pieces were the ones that still felt like me, the ones I could slip on and instantly feel lifted. The release pile went to charities and women's organizations so they could bring joy to someone else's life. And then there was transform, items with emotional value that could be tailored, restyled, or paired with something new to breathe fresh life into them. This process was more than physical tidying. It was a quiet act of healing. Every hanger I cleared made room not just for new clothes, but for new energy. It reminded me that my wardrobe, like my life, could evolve. And here's something beautiful I discovered. Letting go doesn't erase the memory, the love, the moments, the laughter. They stay with you. What changes is the space they occupy, making room for the woman you are becoming. With my closet lighter and my heart a little freer, I was ready to take the next step, bringing color and texture back into my life in ways that would make me feel vibrant again. After my closet was cleared, what remained was a quiet palette, mostly blacks, grays, and a few faded pastels. They felt safe, but they didn't make my heart lift. It struck me that my clothes mirrored how I had been feeling inside: muted, cautious, hidden. Color is more than decoration, it's energy. It can lift our mood, brighten our skin, and even change the way we carry ourselves. I began experimenting, not with head to toe brights, but with subtle shifts: a deep sapphire scarf, a rose colored cardigan, a warm ivory blouse instead of stark white. These small additions made me feel just a little more alive, like adding brush strokes to a canvas that had been sitting unfinished for too long. Textures, too, became part of my healing. I reached for fabrics that felt comforting yet elegant. Soft cashmere against my skin, smooth silk that glided as I moved, and airy linen for those days I wanted to feel light. These weren't just clothes, they were gentle reminders that I deserved to feel beautiful and cared for, even on ordinary days. One surprising thing I learned: certain colors seem to draw people in. A friend told me, "You look radiant today," the first time I wore a soft coral blouse. It wasn't just the blouse, it was the way it made me feel. That quiet confidence showed. I didn't overhaul my wardrobe overnight. Instead, I introduced new shades and textures slowly, mixing them with the pieces I already loved. That way, my style evolved naturally, without feeling forced. Color and texture may seem like small details, but they carry enormous emotional weight. They signal to the world, and to ourselves, that we're present, engaged, and still open to joy. And once I had begun painting my wardrobe with fresh tones and fabrics, I realized it was time to define the overall style I wanted to step into next, a style that truly felt like the new me. Once I had color and texture breathing life into my wardrobe again, I knew it was time to go deeper, beyond individual pieces, and toward a vision of who I wanted to be every time I stepped out the door. Building a personal style after loss isn't about chasing trends. It's about creating a signature that feels like home. I began by asking myself three simple but powerful questions. How do I want to feel in my clothes? How do I want others to perceive me? And what message do I want to send without saying a word? My answers boiled down to three words: elegant, warm, and confident. Those became my compass. With that clarity, shopping became less overwhelming. Instead of wandering aimlessly through racks, I looked for pieces that aligned with my style words. For elegant, I sought clean lines, timeless cuts, and fabrics that draped beautifully. For warm, I embraced colors that flattered my skin tone and felt inviting. And for confident, I chose silhouettes that honored my shape, neither hiding nor overexposing, but celebrating. I also learned the value of a few signature touches, things that people could instantly associate with me. Maybe it's a delicate gold necklace I wear almost daily, a tailored blazer that always makes me stand taller, or a particular way I mix neutrals with one bold pop of color. These little consistencies make style feel intentional and deeply personal. The beauty of building a new personal style at 70 is that there's no pressure to impress anyone but yourself. You've lived enough life to know what feels authentic. This isn't about reinvention, it's about refinement, distilling the best of you and letting it shine through every outfit. And once my style foundation felt solid, I realized there was one more transformation waiting to happen on top of my head. Because the right hairstyle can be the crown that completes everything. Clothing may set the tone, but your hair and makeup are the frame that completes the picture. After years of sticking to the same hairstyle, I realized that my hair no longer reflected the vibrant woman I was becoming. It wasn't bad, it was just tired. And I wanted something that would lift my face and my spirit. I began by talking with a hairstylist who understood the beauty and texture of mature hair. Together, we found a cut that felt fresh but still timeless, a softly layered bob with movement around the face. The layers gave my hair volume, while the slightly lighter shade brightened my skin. It wasn't about looking younger, it was about looking alive, healthy, and confident. Makeup followed the same philosophy, less about covering up, more about enhancing. I swapped heavy foundations for a lightweight, luminous base that let my skin breathe. A hint of cream blush brought warmth to my cheeks, and a neutral eyeshadow palette softly defined my eyes without feeling harsh. And of course, a swipe of lipstick, sometimes a rosy nude, sometimes a cheerful berry, became my little daily ritual. The key was subtlety. I didn't want people to notice my makeup. I wanted them to notice me. These changes didn't demand hours in front of the mirror. They were quick, simple steps that made me feel ready to step into the day with purpose. What surprised me most was how these small updates influenced my clothing choices. A polished hairstyle made me want to wear a beautiful blouse. A fresh lip color inspired me to add a colorful scarf. Everything began to work together, each detail encouraging the next. Because when you start aligning the way you present yourself with the way you want to feel, the transformation becomes effortless. And once I began showing up as that woman, I felt ready to live like her too, bringing my style out of the closet and into the world. Once my hair, makeup, and wardrobe began to reflect the woman I wanted to be, something became clear. Style doesn't live in isolation. It comes alive when you live it, when your life gives you reasons to dress well and feel beautiful. That meant creating a lifestyle that matched my new style. After grief, it's easy to retreat into routines that keep us comfortable but invisible. I had fallen into that trap: grocery runs, quiet evenings at home, and very few moments that called for my favorite clothes. I realized that if I wanted my style to thrive, I had to step back into the world. It started with small steps. I began saying yes to lunch dates, gallery openings, and local charity events. I joined a book club, not just for the reading, but for the connection. I even started hosting little afternoon teas at home. Nothing extravagant, but enough to bring people together and give me an excuse to put on something that made me feel radiant. The more I participated, the more my style became part of my everyday life instead of something I saved for special occasions. And that consistency built confidence. I didn't have to think twice about what to wear because my closet was ready, and so was I. There's also a deeper shift that happens when your lifestyle matches your style. People start to respond differently. Friends comment on how put together you look. Strangers offer compliments, But most importantly, you feel more present, engaged, and connected to your own life. This is the beauty of style after 60. It's not about chasing trends, but about creating harmony between how you look and how you live. When those two align, every day feels like an opportunity. And once I had that rhythm, it was time to focus on the little details that take an outfit from lovely to unforgettable. The accessories and finishing touches that make your style truly yours. If clothing is the foundation of your style, accessories are the brushstrokes that turn it into art. They're the small details that speak volumes, the finishing touches that say, I thought about this. And after rebuilding my wardrobe, I realized how much the right accessories could elevate even the simplest outfit. I began with jewelry, not in abundance, but with intention. A pair of classic pearl studs for days when I wanted understated elegance, a slim gold bracelet that felt like a whisper against my wrist, and a statement necklace or two ready to add personality to a plain sweater or dress. I didn't need a drawer full of options. I just needed pieces I truly loved. Handbags became another signature element. I chose structured shapes in neutral tones for versatility and one or two in vibrant colors to bring life to an outfit. A deep burgundy satchel, for example, instantly made my beige coat look more sophisticated. Scarves turned out to be my secret weapon. A lightweight silk scarf in a floral print could transform a simple white blouse, while a cozy cashmere wrap made me feel cocooned in luxury. The beauty of scarves is that they add color and texture without overwhelming the outfit or the woman wearing it. And of course, shoes. I found that a well-made pair of flats or low heels could strike the perfect balance between comfort and elegance. I avoided anything overly trendy, instead choosing styles that would carry me through years, not just seasons. These accessories did more than decorate my outfits. They told my story. They reflected my mood, my history, and the woman I had become. And the best part? They made me feel complete. Because style isn't just about what you wear. It's about how it all comes together to express you. And once you've mastered that, the final step is embracing the woman you've rebuilt from the inside out. When I look back at the woman I was right after my loss, I see someone standing in the shadows, not because she wanted to disappear, but because she didn't yet know how to step forward again. My clothes were muted, my routines predictable, and my mirror reflected only part of who I was. This journey, starting with a quiet moment in front of my closet, was never just about fashion. It was about finding the courage to see myself again, to honor the past while still making space for the future. Every step mattered. Clearing out the clothes that no longer served me, welcoming colors and textures that lifted my spirit, shaping a style that felt true, refreshing my hair and makeup, creating a lifestyle that gave my style room to breathe, and adding accessories that became my signature. These changes may seem small to someone looking in from the outside, but if you've ever walked through grief, you know that small changes can feel like mountains. And every time you climb one, you feel stronger. I want to remind you of something important. You don't have to wait for a special occasion to look and feel beautiful. The occasion is your life. Every ordinary Tuesday, every quiet coffee date, every moment you choose to show up for yourself. Style is not about impressing the world. It's about expressing the woman you've become. And at 70 or 60 or 80, you have the advantage of wisdom. You know what feels comfortable, what feels authentic, and what feels you. The rest is simply choosing to wear it boldly. So as you stand in front of your own mirror tomorrow, I hope you see more than your reflection. I hope you see possibility. I hope you see a woman who has weathered storms, carried love and loss, and still chooses to step into the world with grace. Because this chapter is yours to write, and your style is the ink on the page. If you enjoyed this journey, I'd love for you to join me in the next video, where we'll explore elegant outfit formulas for women over 60. practical, timeless looks you can recreate from your own wardrobe. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so we can keep walking this beautiful path together. After all, the best part of style at our age isn't about turning back the clock. It's about making every moment ahead as radiant as we can.